To start working on this area up here, I think I'm going to begin with these braces on the outside. Kind of do the things that I can see and then work inward to the places that we can't really see very well. So I've brought up some reference images here of these braces on either side. And I think all we really need to do is create one, say, on this side here, and then duplicate and mirror it over, and then we just need to create this one piece here. Let's give this a try. I think, once again, I'm going to begin with just a polygon plane, and then get this shape right here for this bracket and the hole or the slot in the center, and then add thickness to it with the solidify modifier. All right, so let's begin here. Let's go to the side view with the 3 key. I think what I'm going to do is come over here and click on cursor here, and then click right in here to put that cursor in the center of that piece. I'll switch back to the move tool now. And then when we press Shift A, mesh plane, it'll drop in at that cursor. Now let's bring it down quite a bit. I'm going to take the size from 2 meters down to 0.1. And then let's turn it in the y-axis. So we can, of course, press RY90, but also we can press R and Y and then hold the Control key down. And then in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, you can see the degrees as we snap in 5-degree increments. So we've got 65, and there's 90 degrees right there. All right, so we've got that. Let's now bring it forward to where we want it. So if I hit the Z key and go to wireframe, here's that piece right there. I'm just going to bring it out right about there. And it looks like this is slightly tilted in, slightly angled, but I'm not going to deal with that quite yet. Let's go back to the side view, and I'll scale it down quite a bit. And then I'm going to turn it with the R key. And then I'm going to switch over to local transformation here, from global to local. And notice what the move gizmos did. Now they're in line with that object. And you can change this menu here by pressing the comma key, and then you've got all the same things here. You've got global, and then you've got local there. Okay, so now when we scale it and we choose an axis, we need to choose it based on this local transform gizmo and not on the global one here. So if I want to scale it out in the Y or make it a little bit wider, I can press SY and it'll go this way. There we go. So let's bring it out to about here. And then I'll scale in the X, SX. Let's bring that up to about here, let's say. And then if we tab into edit mode here, and let's add a couple of edges along the length of it. So let's say 3 edges here. I'll scroll the mouse wheel like this. No, how about 4? Let's do 4. I'll hit the enter key. And now that I have these selected, let's press SX and pull them out just a bit. And then I will reduce the selection by pressing Control and the minus key on the numpad, and now we've just got these selected, and then SX. And I'll hold the Shift key down. You can see what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get that curve on the top and the bottom there. There we go. Now, what this also does, let me go to wireframe, it gives me some edges to create this inner slot. Now, it's not going to be quite as wide as it is here, and that's okay. I'm not going to fuss about that too much here. I'm just going to press Control R, and I want to bring this like this. And notice that as I get it closer to the edges, see how it curves to fit the edges? And I don't really want that. I want it to stay straight. So one thing I can do here is just hit the Escape key or press the right mouse button, and it'll go flat again. And then I can just drag this like this. So I'll put it right here. Now, the other way we can make this flat, let me press Control R and bring this down like this. The other way we can make this flat is if you look up in the top left-hand corner of the screen here, where it says Edge Slide, and you can see it says Even equals Off, right? So if I hit E to turn even on, now it's even with this edge here. And up there now you can see it says Flipped Off. And if I hit the F key to turn flipped on or off, it curves and then it straightens up. So that's another way to make your inserted edge loops conform to the end or go flat. So that's the E key and then the F key. So I'll put this right down here. Now if we go back to solid view, I can hit the 3 key, go to face mode, and then delete this face here. So with that done, let's come back over here to the modifiers panel. Let's click add modifier and click on solidify. Now let's choose even thickness here. And let's make sure that our scale is uniform before we finish up with the solidify modifier. I'm going to press the N key. And in this panel, we can see that the scale is non-uniform. But the solidify modifier is another one of those tools that uses the scale to run the tool. So I'm going to apply the scale and see what happens. Let's press Control A and apply the scale. Now look at that. That's actually 0.01 meters. So now let's take this and drag it down. I'll hold the Shift key down and let's drag it down to where we think it should be. So maybe about like this. Let's see. I almost feel like we can go 0.0025. Yeah, something like that. That's pretty good. Okay, so we've got that basic shape. Now let's work on these little cylinders here. We just need to bring in a few cylinders here and here. So let's do that. I will go back to the side view again. Click on cursor. Maybe I'll put this here. If we go back to wireframe, we can see it here. So yeah, maybe right in here, let's say, something like that. All right, now let's bring in a cylinder. Shift A, mesh, cylinder. And for this, let's put it at, say, 24. And then I'll type in 0.1 and 0.2 meters to shrink it down. And in addition, let's change this from N-gon to triangle fan here. Let's try that. All right, so now we can scale this down quite a bit. I'll change back to the move tool here. Let's turn it in the y-axis, RY90. I'll go back to wireframe and let's scale it down to fit kind of right inside this piece right here. Yeah, something like that. Then let's bring it over to where we want it. It probably wants to fit right in here somewhere. Let's go back to the global transformation, or we can, of course, hit the comma key and go back to global. There we go. So now let's scale in the X to bring this in like this. And then we can begin working on this area here. So if we tab back into edit mode, I'll press Alt-A to deselect. And now I want to select all of these faces. For me, probably the easiest way to do that is to hit the C key to turn on the circle select tool, and then click and drag and kind of paint the selection, and then right click to get out of the tool. Now what we can do is do a little extruding to get this basic shape. So what we can do is say, hit the I key to inset just a bit like this. And then let's hit the E key to extrude and push in just a bit. And I'll hit the S key to scale in. Maybe let's pull that back out just a bit. And then I want to go all the way in here. I'm going to hit the I key, go all the way in like this, and then hit E, pull out just a bit. Maybe something like that. And now let's get this little piece right here. So ES, scale out. And then E and pull out a bit. I will scale in just a smidge like that. Let's hit the I key again. And then E, pull out, S, scale in. And let's do all this again. Let's hit the I key and I'll push in. And then let's get this little piece here. So let's just hit E and pull out and then S. Maybe push it back a bit. E, pull out, S. And we can keep doing this. We can also just hit the I key and then pull out, I key, and pull out like that. And then maybe we could go in, I'll hit the period key on the numpad and just select that one little point and pull that out a bit. And there we go. Let's maybe try and smooth this and see what happens. I'll right click and shade smooth. And then let's come over here to the object data properties right down here. Let's twirl these up, and under the normals section, let's turn on auto smooth and see what happens. Yeah, that's kind of nice. That helps out a bit. I feel like that this piece could come out some. Let's try that. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we've got those pieces in. In the next video, we'll continue working on this brace and maybe even duplicate it and flip it over here to the other side.